One of the most frustrating feelings when practicing guitar is trying to learn a scale only to end up feeling completely lost and stuck. I've ended up in this place more than once before, but since then I've learned 3 key concepts that help me get out of that rut and make my practice sessions actually fun and productive. So let's get into what these key concepts are. So the first concept is just the concept of how scales work. In other words, just making sure that you have your basics down and you understand how scales are actually built, how they work, because if you understand how scales work, then it's just a matter of applying that same principle to other scales. And at the end of the day, the way that scales work is that scales are just a collection of notes with a specific hierarchy. The most important note being the root note or the tonic, because we see that note as the home base for pretty much every scale. Another important detail on how scales work is that they're built by lining up notes sequentially in order without jumping any notes. So if we have the C major scale that goes C, D, E, F, G, A, B, you're not going to jump from C to E. You're going to go C, D, E, etc., etc. And another really important thing about scales is that they're always going to be defined by a specific order of intervals, which just means the distance between each note. So the major scale has a specific order of intervals that define what that scale is. And the same thing applies to every other scale. Each scale has its own sequence of intervals that define what scale that is. So just knowing those key points on how scales work will already start to lighten the load, because these are things that all scales share in common, and that's just how scales work. But if that was all there was to it, then we wouldn't have that many people confused or lost with scales, right? And this is actually where a lot of guitar players will get tripped up, because it's not easy translating that theory behind scales into actionable guitar playing on your neck. So what's the secret here? Well, that brings us on to concept number 2, which is that you should learn your scales and pretty much everything else on the guitar according to a specific guitar visualization method. So if you've dabbled in caged and then you dabbled in 3 notes per string, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot here. You need to pick one visualization method and stick to it, at least while you're learning it. Because once you have one visualization method down, you can oftentimes just stack another one on it or learn a completely new one as its own thing. And with time, you'll even start seeing how all those visualization methods actually relate to one another. Now, in my case, I do recommend the cage system above all, because it's the one that's most helped me, and it's the one that it's actually more natural to the guitar because it works with how the guitar actually works. And that's why it's the method that was taught to me in music college. And so I really cannot stress enough that cage system can be your best friend here. Just make sure you're focused about it and that you stick to that and nothing else, at least while you're learning it. But even then, a lot of guitar players will just get totally tripped up on scales and get very confused and overwhelmed. Because of the internet and the wealth of resources that we have at our disposals as guitarists any time of the day, it's so easy to get way overwhelmed and in over your head about all the different scales that there are. Which is exactly why it's so important that you learn these things in a specific order so that you're focused on it and that you don't get overwhelmed. Now, to help with this, I want to give you an order of sorts of how you should learn your scales. If you ask me, you should learn the major scale first because everything stems from that in a certain way. It's the most used scale. It's absolutely everywhere in music, and most of your favorite music already uses that, so why wouldn't you start off with that? Now, once you have that down, you're going to want to move on to the natural minor scale. And the great thing about that scale is that it's really just the major scale starting from the 6th degree. So if you have C major, then it's just the same notes, just starting from A instead of C. So going from A to A with no sharps or flats. And it's a subtle shift, but it does impact how you work with these scales. So you should practice it as its own thing. Now, after you have the natural minor scale down, you should learn the other 2 types of minor scales, which are the harmonic minor and the melodic minor. And this is where you'll get into more interesting and colorful musical territory. The harmonic minor is the scale that a lot of people associate with that Arabic sound or Middle Eastern sound. And that's because of the only difference that it has with the natural minor scale, which is just the 7th degree or the 7th note, which is raised half a step up. So if in A minor, the 7th note or degree will be G natural, that means that in A harmonic minor, that G natural will be G sharp. Apart from that, everything stays the same as the natural minor scale. But just that one shift in that one note really changes the scale completely. So you should definitely check that scale out and try and experiment a lot with that scale because it's a really great sound. Now, the melodic minor is even more spicy because it has two notes which are different from the regular minor scale. So the 7th degree stays the same as the harmonic minor. So that means in A minor melodic, the G is still G sharp. But on top of that, the 6th degree or the 6th note in the scale will also be half a step up. So in the case of A melodic minor, that'll be F sharp. So instead of having a natural F like the harmonic minor and the natural minor scale, you'll have an F sharp, which creates an even more spicy and interesting sound. And this sound is really used a lot in jazz, and in general, it's just a really great scale. And an interesting fact about this scale is that the only difference between the melodic minor scale and the major scale is just one note, which is the 3rd. So you can also look at the melodic minor scale as just a major scale, but with the 3rd note flat. Now, when you have your basic major and minor scales down, that's when you should look into the modes and symmetric scales like half whole and whole half. The great thing about the modes is that if you know one scale, then you'll already know all the modes of that scale, which is where so many people get tripped up because they look at the modes as its own scale, and we can and should be able to look at it like that. But when you're learning the modes, the most useful thing for me and the way I learned it is just that they're basically like inversions of a scale. So for example, D Dorian is just the C major scale, but starting and ending from the note D. So that's what I mean by an inversion of a scale. It's just playing the same scale, but starting and ending on a different note on that scale. And this obviously changes the intervallic sequence of that scale, and it changes what notes are the important ones and the color tones in that scale. But thinking about it as an inversion to a scale is a really useful shortcut to being able to use that when you're actually working on something or improvising, for example. And once you have the modes down, then you're going to want to go to the symmetric scale, and that's half whole and whole half. Now, they're called symmetric scales because they basically repeat the same pattern over and over again. So the half whole scale will be defined by having a half tone interval in sequence with a whole tone interval, and just repeating those two intervals in sequence over and over again. And the whole half will be the same thing but inverse. So it's going to have a whole tone and then a half tone, and repeat that over and over again for the rest of the scale. So wrapping things up, learning your guitar skills does not have to be a frustrating process. So long as you have your basic scales down, stick to one specific visualization method, and learn your scales in order, you'll find that learning scales becomes a more iterative and fun process that compounds over time the more you put into it. Now, if you'd like to go deeper with this, I have a free guide for you called 3 Steps to Fretboard Mastery. In it, you'll learn my simple 3-step process to apply everything that we've talked about to the entire fretboard so you never get lost on the guitar ever again. If that interests you at all, you can check it out in the link in the description down below. And until next time, keep practicing.